My name is Nico Steves. Podcasts this summer season will run 15 minutes each in a re-release of my book, The Constant Procession, the history of the Virgin Mary since she passed on. I'd like to thank you for your listening to these weekly Constant Procession podcasts, and also for purchasing plus spreading the word about my book, The Very Fine Light, which is available on Amazon.com. This summer I'll also be traveling to complete my next book, and I will be bringing you a few reports from the field about this upcoming book. And so, please keep checking my website, nicosteves.com, as I will be posting blog updates from time to time. By the way, keep me posted on what you're up to in the comments section of my website or via email at nicosteves@gmail.com. And now, enjoy this installment of The Constant Procession. Installment 3. Even union workers believed in Our Lady of Lourdes. They labored for free to construct a permanent pathway and pond to make it easier for pilgrims to access the healing spring. The spring has drawn people to this site ever since. Bernadette's revelations regained credibility now. This after her bishop, who initially believed her claims, removed his approval after a few of the people who claimed to be healed, upon closer examination, some had less than credible claims. The bishop began to doubt Bernadette's visions. Finally, something else happened to give further credence to her claims. While undergoing an interview by her priest to test her tale, Bernadette's description was quite vivid as she slowly repeated a message the Madonna told her to tell the priest. Quote, "I am the Immaculate Conception." Unquote. This shocked her priest. It surprised him to hear this naive girl utter these words. He realized Bernadette's responses to be beyond the childish actions or games of an immature girl in need of attention. He knew the youth did not know anything about the new doctrine of Immaculate Conception, authorized by the Pope just a short time before and only revealed to bishops and priests. Immaculate Conception, as a religious doctrine, says that the Virgin Mary had been protected from original sin. The Madonna did not have a sinful nature and possessed purity. So when the local bishop heard that the girl had revealed this, the apparitions took on a more important tone. For the clergy, this revelation turned the stories of this girl, born in poverty, into the highest levels of credibility. If she could prove she had never heard the words or the concept before. During this time, Bernadette experienced being browbeaten by the clergy, jailed by area officials, mocked by the villagers, taken advantage of by tricksters. Nevertheless, the young peasant girl gained great credibility, thanks in part to the confirmed miracles in those words, Immaculate Conception, as told to her by the Madonna. Bernadette became a nun and after her death earned sainthood. It is estimated that 1 million people go to the site each year, believers and non-believers alike, who make time and personal investment to go there in hopes of gaining strength as well as courage, and in the hopes of leading better lives. Chapter 5. Back to Conyers. I remembered going to an apparition sighting just east of Atlanta in Conyers, Georgia, 10 years before. A former nurse at that time, who lived on one of the highest points in the area, started seeing apparitions of one who called herself One Mother of Many Names. These appearances of the Madonna had occurred during a period of 8 years, which started in 1991. The apparitions would appear every 13th of the month and reveal things to a former nurse, Nancy Fowler. According to Nancy Fowler, the Madonna's communications ranged on a great variety of concerns, which Ms. Fowler would come out and relay to a crowd that grew and grew in size. As with every apparition, a swirl of controversy and rumors of deception and scams point at the source of each apparition. Ms. Fowler proved no exception. Still, the crowds grew and grew every 13th. The crowds kept coming and getting larger and larger. On September 13th of 1998, in her monthly message to Ms. Fowler, the Madonna revealed there would be one more public visitation on the following 13th of the month. On October 13, 1998, the largest group of seekers gathered on the property. The local officials did not want the attention or hassle of the increasing traffic jams that had been growing each month during these apparition sightings. Neighbors threatened to shoot people if they crossed or parked on their property. Law enforcement had to be beefed up, and the sheriff's office threatened to ticket and tow cars in an effort to keep the crowd down. But still the people came, for miles in all directions. The arrival of people from all walks of life, from all parts of the world, came for this final apparition message. A crowd of an estimated 100,000 souls arrived. My wife and I, with a toddler in tow, plus an infant in a stroller, arrived and took our first chance to park. The farm, as it is known, is situated at the top of a rounded mountain, off a side road, just off the main highway. From the main highway, which is where we parked, there is an evergreen forest that leads up to the back of the homestead. I remember finding a makeshift pathway leading through the forest, and then the throngs of people walking up a trail. The morning air had that fall crispness to it as we arrived and tried to get near the backside of the homestead. We learned from others on the pathway that this is where Ms. Fowler would come after every apparition to tell the crowd what had been revealed to her by the Madonna. Though we tried to get as close as possible, after our efforts we found ourselves still far removed and not close to the action, so I did not hear Ms. Fowler when she came out after her encounter. This, in part, is what she revealed as told to her by the Madonna. Quote, "My dear children, I have come to be with you today and, as your loving mother, to instruct you. Children, please live your life in full union with God. It is most pleasing to God when you imitate Him and honor me. Seek the help and protection of my beloved spouse, Saint Joseph. Know of the help and blessings that you are able to receive by calling upon the souls in heaven. Be ready for heaven. My Son has prepared a place for you. Follow Him. Avoid the temptations and ways of the world. You have the commandments of God. Children, obey. Do not store worldly treasures. You will take with you the good that you have done on earth, your love of God and neighbor. My requests remain the same as in Portugal in 1917. Please, children, stop offending God. Please. God is the Creator, and He is sovereign over all creation from the heavens above to the earth below. You have yet to see the forces of nature. No man is greater than God. No country is greater than God. If you choose to live apart from God, then you will fall, and fall you will. Oh, my dear little children, God is all-loving, and you will reach Him by imitating Him. You are worried about the future, but you do not attend to your daily duties. Please be attentive. My Son's heart is rich in mercy and love for you. When you are doing your best, do not worry. The future holds no concern to those who truly seek God, love Him, and remain in His favor. The warnings have been given to you. Take seriously how you live your life. Pray, children, pray. My parting words are, be holy witnesses, walk by faith. I love you all my dear children. My own experience at the time, though I had not heard the words, had been a sense of peacefulness and calm. Considering the size of the crowd and our two toddlers, and the chill in the autumn air, I found it to be a rather unique sensation, not my normal experience whenever I had two toddlers in tow. But excitement seemed to be throughout the crowd. Elation seemed to fill the air. But the on-site media reports consisted of in-depth details about traffic jams, upset neighbors, and the occasional jaded interview question. My thoughts are perhaps the message that came to me: build your castles high. Not an earth-shattering revelation, but it is what I took from the experience as we walked away that day. So now, a dozen years later, I began to wonder, just what happened to this place? Would it still be there? And if yes, why had I not heard any more about it? Not sure of how the question would be received, I asked around the church communities, but found little information. A couple of people told me that it had held a great amount of controversy. I also heard that Nancy Fowler had moved away from the site. I decided to take a drive back to the site to see if it still even existed. I journeyed back 75 miles east of downtown Atlanta. Going mostly by memory, I got very lost, and after fits and starts, began to rethink the value of this pursuit. To my great relief, before devoting much more time to this thought, I stumbled onto the country road that led to the farm, and voila, I had arrived. Though it looked somewhat different than I remembered, in retrospect, I had arrived at the main entrance, whereas before, we had come through the evergreen forest closer to the backside. I took a bit of delight in my success to find the farm. I found well-kept grounds between the two-lane road and the farmhouse off in the distance at the top of the hill. Things here appeared to be alive and well. But I hesitated as I approached the dirt road entrance. Should I go up there? With great trepidation, I drove onto the property. Silence greeted me as I parked. No one seemed to be around. It made me a bit uncomfortable, like when one approaches an unknown part of town. I felt like a thief in the night. Should I proceed? Then I became more focused on the layout of the landscape. Blocked by several evergreen trees is a 12-foot-tall stone statue of the Madonna. Encouraged by the solitude and isolation of the location, in silence I approached the statue. Does anyone come here anymore? I thought to myself. To my surprise, an answer came as I moved closer to the statue. I found, draped on the Madonna's outstretched hands, a variety of colorful rosary beads, left as requests from prayers, I surmised. Then an aroma captured my attention, a familiar fragrance, that of roses. Of course, then I saw them. They adorned the Madonna's feet, a variety of colorful roses in numerous vases, some ornate, some set in cheap makeshift containers. Though I found no one any place around, their fragrance and the freshness of their appearance indicated the flowers must have been a recent addition. And the smell of this array of fresh-cut roses wafted across the vastness. Moved, I knelt and said a quick prayer almost before I realized it. It felt like one of those aha inspirational moments as a gentle breeze caressed my face. But why? What could be here in the middle of a field, in the middle of the country, on a nondescript day? Emboldened, I got up and started to look around the property. I explored the grounds and soon noticed signage that made it clear people are welcome here. I walked around. I soon found a visitor center, a study center, 2 outdoor Station of the Crossed pathways with life-sized crosses, a prayer room in the farmhouse, and adjacent to the property, a small church. The lay of the land seemed pretty much as I had remembered. I found the name of the nonprofit organization that runs the facility and an invitation to prayer vigils they hold each week. Their name? Our Loving Mother's Children. As for people, though, I had the place to myself. Fine with me, as I did have some concern about what they would have to say to me. Under no pressure, I explored the various areas at my leisure on this return to the site. Again, I experienced a very peaceful tranquility to the place as I spent part of the day. After a while, I did see several people around. As I got more comfortable in the environment, I did begin to wonder, how come no people? Remembering back, what impressed me from long ago included the people that made up the crowd. There had been an almost indescribable atmosphere of excited anticipation, of hope, and great faith. I felt its presence still, though the experience of that last apparition had been by now many years before. The feeling remains constant today. As I left, I began to wonder, why in this major metropolis of Atlanta, the city too busy to hate, has this apparition site been overlooked? I decided that the people who remain are the true believers. Their faith has become a cornerstone in recognition of those events. Theirs is the inspired mission to keep the faith alive. Just who are the religious visionaries who chose to formalize a church here? And what religious denomination would have taken on the call in light of the fact that the immediate area already had a number and great variety of churches already? Well, this is Nico Steves. I hope you enjoyed this installment. My book, The Very Fine Light, can be found using the title The Very Fine Light on Amazon.com. Please feel free to contact me at nicosteves.com. That's Nikos Steves, Steves.com. If you like this episode, and for more, share them with friends. Well, this is Nico Steves. Thank you. See you next time.